Hello, guys, it's Will Lissil here. I'm in Yorkshire, in the North region of England, and today we are going to talk with an independent artist that I was interviewing before, and he's amazing. We are talking about a kind of music, like nostalgic music, that I love just to put my earphone and relax, and that's it. But this time, it's a new album and we are talking about Moore and Westridge. So Dave D. Moore and Westridge, and this is an album of 10 new tracks for us to explore. Dave D, let us know where you are right now and who you are in terms of music.
Yeah, well, I'm David Moore. I grew up and born and raised in Dallas, Texas, but currently I live in a very rural part of Northwest Texas, a little city called Knox City. Maybe, I don't know, 3,000 people. No, it doesn't even have that. 1,300 people. So it's a very small community.
Okay, great. So yeah, that's perfect for the kind of music you are doing too, right?
It- well, it's the music I'm doing right now, basically from my roots from growing up and listening to classic rock and cutting my teeth on the 60s through the 80s. Basically, is the biggest influence for me musically.
Can we say soft rock, pop rock?
I like to do a lot of different stuff. You'll hear it in my new album. I really went up tempo, thus the title "Get the Let Out." Not only indicating I wanted to go more up tempo, but also kind of a shout out to I was a big Led Zeppelin fan growing up, so uh, that was
Oh
a
my God, we're talking about rock and roll.
yes.
All right. So you have many different influences from classic rock and also soft and pop rock. Let's say like that. It's about rock anyway.
Yeah, my
Right.
first two albums were definitely more folk rock. I write a lot on acoustic guitar, and so those were just getting my feet wet when I'm coming back after raising a family. I've been out of music for about 20 years. So I wanted to get my feet wet and get back into things and went with what was the most familiar to me as far as producing and recording. And then this one, I wanted to step up the tempo and go more back to my classic rock roots, I guess you'd say.
Amazing, great. And how about this new album? Because last time we talked about the release of a single, if I'm not wrong, right? The last year we had an interview.
The last interview was, I believe, for a whole album. I think that was probably my second album. I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was the second album. Now, you did do a write up on a single off of this album, my new album, earlier, because I signed up for the Get Fund IO. And so I got that. And perhaps that might be what you're thinking about.
Oh, great, great. So I know that the interview we had was focusing on the previous album, but we were talking about the main tracks. That's it. We went to Spotify and we were exploring the main tracks. That was about three tracks, and I think we can do the same right now because this album is 10 different tracks. We can just choose the three more important tracks and talk about them, talk about the lyrics and the process of production. Because you are a master. I think you have a lot to say and also teach us because you have a lot of experience too. Can we do that? Exploring your portfolio on Spotify.
Sounds great to me, Will.
Let's go then. Spotify, it's here. I will open here separately because I want to show the full profile. Dave Moore on Spot. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Right, Dave Moore and Westridge. So we have the most popular tracks here, right? And we have the last release here, Get the Lead Out.
That's correct. Yes.
And we have here 10 tracks to explore. And I know the third track of this album here on Spotify, it's the same name, the same title, Get the Lead Out. Is it the main one, the lead single?
Oh, it's the title track. I don't know that it's the main single, but yeah, it's the title track of the album. That was the one collaboration. Everything else I wrote, but I was telling you about my friend Chris McConville there in the UK, and
From London, right?
yes,
Chris. Okay, we can start by this one then, and then we explore. We're going to explore more two or three. Okay.
sounds good.
What about the lyrics? What is that about?
Get the Let Out as an instrumental.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's go. I like it.
Get the lead out.
Wow, that was good. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Wow, it was really really good, and there is some effects like something breaking at the end, and about the guitar, about the piano. I really love it. I couldn't stop like moving my body, really like it.
Well, thank you.
It's interesting because it's only instrumental. People normally when we are listening to commercial music, when we say, oh, it's only instrumental, and some people are not interested in that, but it's really interesting because it's the rhythm, it's a rock with a kind of pop beat, and also with some effects. It's like give us an opportunity to transport to a different dimension.
Yeah, it was Chris played drums on that, and like I said, he co-wrote with me on that. Uh, a lot of it was I had a lot of fun with it because it was basically a repetitive riff that I just got to play around producer with. So I'm still getting my way around the DAW and everything. Been on back about a year and a half, so still that was a fun tune to do because it really pushed my production, uh, helped me to start going in different directions with things.
Okay, and how many instrumental tracks we have here on this album?
There are two instrumentals on it.
That's Get Led Out, another one.
The other one is called Dance of the Firefly.
This one, number 9. Okay. So, and I have a question about your personal choice of releasing an album after 20 years. You wanted to release this album 20 years ago?
No, I got out of I basically got away from music just because I got married and had a daughter, and having to work the hours at my job, which I worked for a major airline. I didn't have really the time to do that. And honestly, my real passion back then was soccer. So uh, I could squeeze a little bit of soccer in, plus all the hours I was working uh, at my regular job. So the music got put on a side. I always intended to go back because I've still got all the equipment. I saved all my equipment. I've got some real vintage equipment around here, and I still
Wait, now
use
I want to see that. I'm curious about the equipment. Can we see that?
the to look at what now?
Yeah, yeah.
Back here.
Tell us about the equipment. I'm gonna put here like big one on the screen. Oh, there behind. Okay, that's
Yeah, I've
great.
got a rack mount here that's got a lot of vintage effects and stuff like that, and then I've got other vintage equipment around the studio also.
Wow, and many guitars, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus, it's a collection. And
Yeah,
also vinyls on the top.
that's correct. Yeah, that's all my vinyl up there.
Great, it's a collection too. Amazing. And also you have um an equipment that is really, it's like how can I say, reliquia, when something is antique. At there is one. Let me see. Zero. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The third one from the top to the bottom. That's one we play. The third one from the top to the bottom.
You talking about this?
One to the top. On top of that, yeah, this one,
This right
the,
here?
the green one. Below that one. Below,
This,
yeah, that one. Yeah, it's to play what kind of equipment?
that's
It's not
simply
CD.
a cassette. It's a dual cassette deck.
Cassette deck. Okay. You know why I'm asking that? Because the teenagers and people like who are 18, 20 years old, they don't know what is that anymore. I do, obviously. I'm 40. I'm 41 years old, but they don't know what is that. Are you still using that one?
Well, here this is a cassette tape.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that I was using a pen sometimes, to
Uh-huh.
forward. Like, to to make it right, and sometimes recording the radio on top of all the old songs I had. I wanted new songs. I was recording from the radio and using those cassettes. It's really really interesting and very nostalgic. There is an effect on electronic softwares to make that kind of sound. You make your music sound it's from a cassette because it's a different quality of audio, right? We cannot compare with CD or digital audio.
Right. It's analog, totally analog. So
Are you still using that?
I don't use it much at all. I have used bits and pieces in one of the tracks on the new album called Magic Woman. There's an acoustic intro that I took off of my good friend Jim Patterson, who I used to write with a lot. He did that came off a cassette tape when he and I would just sit around and play acoustic guitars and sing. And that intro from that was taken off of a cassette tape of him and I years and years ago. It leads into the song. It's just a brief intro on the song.
That's amazing. I like it. We can listen to that one then. Can we do
Okay.
that now?
Sure.
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. They say that you know your magic well.
Oh my God. Wow.
So find a guy and steal his heart with a spell. Once you've got him, they say that you never let go. Please, magic woman, cast your spell on me so I know. And they say you're a hypnotic girl, casting spells and brewing strange tea. Won't you please look into your book and cast your spell on me? Won't you please cast your spell on me? She lives down in New Orleans town, and people know of her magic for miles around. They say don't get too close or you'll fall in a spell. But I've seen this woman and I know that I already fell. And they say you're a hypnotic girl, casting spells and brewing strange tea. Won't you please look into your book and cast your spell on me? Won't you please cast your spell on me? Her hair's brown, her eyes blue as the sky. Don't know if I could break it, but I'm not gonna try. I can feel her body next to mine. We're making love until the end of time. And they say you're a hypnotic girl, casting spells and brewing strange tea. Won't you please look into your book and cast your spell on me? Won't you please cast your spell on me?
Great, great. Again, I'm impressed because it's so nostalgic, but so new at the same time. And I love that slight effect on your voice. Really good. So it's Chris production, right? The the album production. So Chris made the production of the album.
No, I produced the album.
Oh, you produced the album.
Yes.
Okay, great. So it's all your ideas.
Yes, I wrote. Other than, like I said, other than the title track, "Get the Lead Out," I wrote everything. I mixed, produced, everything.
Wow, high quality, Dave. I like it. Really, really good. And as I say, it's I know it's nostalgic. It's remind us of classic rock, but at the same time, so new because nowadays, music is too electronic, right? And when we listen to this kind of music, it's like wow, it's raw. It's good. It's like sugar in my ears. I like it.
Well, thank you, Will. I'm really trying to get back to what the roots of the
The
rock
roots.
in the 60s and 70s. When you get so much money involved in anything, then uh, over the years, writing has become formula writing in a lot of ways. There's production. One producer would do something neat, so everybody wanted to do the same thing, and the sounds would kind of get, I don't know, too too mechanical and too without soul.
Let's say food that we use to put on microwave and it's ready in
Mhm.
5 minutes. It's like that. Sometimes I feel music is like that nowadays. You put on the microwave, it's all the same. Everyone is listening to the same and producing the same. And it's all about marketing and marketing and marketing. And sometimes it's not related to level of talent, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just music that does that. Like I said, in any industry or sports, whatever, when somebody gets some new idea and gets successful, then it gets copycatted a lot. And it's just natural. It's a natural progression. But I'm wanting to go back to the time when, the 60s, the early 70s, when it wasn't overproduced. It was just a different sound, a different vibe that they had back then.
Yeah, there is I think it's a characteristic. Um, it's a little bit rebel. It's a little bit when youngsters they started like a rebellion in terms of culture on the 70s, and they changed the way they made music. They changed the way they was dressing, the outfits. If you check on internet and if you try to find 70s fashion, it's totally different. Nothing to do with we saw in the last 40 years, 30 years. I'm saying 40 because I'm 40. So and when we talk about music, seems like it's from now, because obviously people from my generation and before my generation, or actually after my generation, the younger ones, they wasn't listening this kind of music anymore. uh, that's why I said about the excessive electronic effects, etc., that we see on music nowadays. And I'm not criticizing, but when I listen to this kind of music you are doing, David, I prefer that one. Besides, I'm eclectic. I listen to all kind of music, but I prefer that one. My ears, it's like, oh, I feel like, wow, that's good. Just give me that relaxing sensation. And if I have a good earphone, forget about me. If I have 10 tracks, forget about me. I'm gonna be listening to the whole album, one track by one, and maybe repeat after that more 20 times in the
Well,
same day.
thanks, Will. I could sure use the Spotify streams.
Great. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put here when I have to write. Oh, but I have to write about music, and I cannot be listening to other artists' music and writing about other one. I have to listen the music of the artist I'm writing about. But if I didn't, I was listening to your album all day. Wow, great. So I have a question about the magic woman. Is that a specific woman in your life? Now it's a little bit personal. If you don't want to talk about it, just let me know. Is there a specific woman in your life, or was just a nice lyrics you created?
No, and that song was written, I don't know, 20, 30 or 40 years ago. I'd have to go back and try to figure out when I wrote that. But I was very young, and oftentimes my lyrics don't make a, I don't know, they're not real deep or anything. It's just what was coming to my head at the time, what I was hearing in the melody when I was writing the song. So yeah, that was not about any specific person.
Wait, but you said 30 years ago
Yeah, if not more.
you got this song recorded for 30 years and you were released it just now?
Oh, no, no, no. This was a new recording. The song itself was written uh, over
Oh,
30
you
years.
got the lyrics 30 years ago.
Correct. The whole song itself was written, but not recorded. This was
Right.
a new recording, yes.
And I'm curious about it. Did you remember the melody when you got like your lyrics on your collection of lyrics from 30 years ago? You remembered the melody?
I do. Yeah, most of my songs, I've got well over 100 songs that I've got most of them, I remember the lyrics, I remember the chords, I remember how to play them.
You are a genius, man.
No, I just played
Wow.
them a lot.
You have to release more music. Come on, you still have 100 new songs to release.
I do, and I'm gonna mix, bringing some of the older stuff as well as writing new stuff. 3 of the songs on this album are brand new. They were written uh, either late 2023 or early 2024 before I released the album. But most of the songs are older songs.
Okay, right. I can see that most of the popular songs here are all from your latest album because you have more releases before. You had it. It's here on your discography. But on top, it's like 1 to 10 of the most popular albums on your portfolio are from the last album.
Well, and if you look down there, a lot of those I tried something new on this album, and I released everything as singles except for 2. I released 7 or 8 of the songs as singles a month to 2 weeks apart, and then I went ahead and released the whole album with a couple of bonus tracks that hadn't been released yet.
Great, that's good. So the most popular here is Paid My Dues.
Yeah, I really like the way that one came out. A friend of mine that I knew back in my band days, we worked together at that airline. I met him. His name's Brian Patterson, and we jammed some. I've even got an old cassette tape of us jamming live in my old studio. And I reconnected with Brian late last year, I guess it was, and I asked him if he'd do the bass track to this. Brian has played with he played with Chuck Berry. He has toured all over the United States. He's played with all kinds of acts.
Wow.
He is I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I know he's working on a project right now with Tom Petty's old drummer. Brian's a very seasoned, real good bass player, and he did a fantastic job on this song.
Amazing. Can you listen to this one, Paid My Dues now?
Yeah.
It's not instrumental, right?
No, it is not.
Okay, great.
I paid my dues long as I can. Now I'm hearing about another man. Oh no, I can't take it much more. How much longer till you kick me out of your door? Babe, I see you standing there. Oh, please, honey, tell me you care about my feelings. Tell me you won't leave me to die. Do you want around and see me cry. Well, if you want to say goodbye, please don't stick around and watch me cry. Oh no, just leave me alone to find my way. I'm a blind fool on it without you lighting my day. I'm a blind fool on it without you lighting my day.
Amazing, amazing, great, great, great. I love it. It's so. I think I was born in the wrong time, man. For real, for real. I was born in the wrong time. I should be born maybe in, I don't know, in the 40s, because then in the 70s I would be 30. You know. Wow, I love your music, man. For real. And what is about the lyrics is yours too, right?
The
The
lyrics
lyric,
of
the
what?
lyrics of this track, "Paid My Dues," is yours too,
Yes, yes.
right? What is that about?
Once again, my typical. Sometimes I write about specific people or instances. Sometimes just whatever comes into mind. I'll find a riff. I imagine a lot of people write this way. Find a riff on the guitar. I start playing it. I'm going, hey, that sounds neat. Then a melody pops into my head, and then I just start writing down lyrics that just pop into my head. So that's how that song was written.
Oh, you. Oh, okay. I have an artist. I know an artist. She writes first the lyrics. It's a little bit the opposite. She writes the lyrics and then she tries to find a melody that match with that kind of topic, and the lyrics, etc. And you do the your process is the opposite. So you write the melody first. You create the melody and then try to find the lyric that match with the melody.
Yeah, most times I've written in a lot of different ways, but that would be, I'd say 80%, 90% of my writing is done that way.
That's really interesting. What about your family? Are they supporting your I cannot say late career because there is no right or wrong age, but is your family supporting you?
Well, my dad passed away about a year ago. My mom is still alive. She'll be 94 at the end of this month. So, but
Wow.
yeah, they're not real rock and rollers, never were. So.
What about your daughter?
Uh, my daughter, we're kind of estranged right now. Hopefully that'll get fixed someday, but right now we don't really even communicate. So
Okay. We are going to send her your music and tell her to listen to it because this is amazing. Okay, I'm gonna be your son then. You keep sending me your music because I'm gonna be listening forever. Okay.
Will, you're great. Thank you so much. I plan to keep on putting. I've really enjoyed this. 20 years off. I lost a lot in that time, but then again, everything's really fresh now. I'm not burned out. I'm not, you know, it's been a lot of fun. And since I'm independent artist, I'm having to learn the socials. I'm having to learn uh, mastering. I took my hand at mastering this track or this album, and I think I'm doing much better at that. There's a lot to learn, and it's helping to keep me young, having something to do instead of just sitting around watching TV or something all the time.
That's amazing. I admire you because I think I told you last time we had an interview. I know some very young independent artists. They are starting their careers, and sometimes they feel depressed because they don't have a lot of followers, they don't have a lot of likes, and they say, "Oh, I'm just giving up. I'm not gonna do that." Blah blah blah. And I say, you cannot give up because uh, above the information that what's digital is an illusion about having a lot of followers or likes, it means nothing in terms of talent. I know people like David Moore and Westridge. He started like after 20 years he wanted to record an album. He started and he is mastering how to promote it and doing great music and bringing back classic rock roots, to his album, etc. Like, David, we need people like you to show the younger generation that we cannot give up. We cannot give up just because of social networks, you know.
Yeah, Will, I think what I would say to that is, and I fell into the trap too, you get into trying to chase numbers. And at a certain point, I realized this is not what I got into it for. I got into it to do my music. And I'm, when I came up, you signed with a label if you had any chance to get heard by anybody, other than just locally. Well, now you look at how easy it is to put music out and get it distributed all over the world. That was unheard of when I came up. And it's easy to get chasing numbers and forget that you're doing it for the love of the music. That's number one. So I've
Exactly. And
gone
you're
over the last year, I've gone full circle. I'm back to doing it for the right reasons.
great. And your audience, they found you. They will find you always. And I can give you an example. Now, all search engines, they are based on artificial intelligence. Okay, so when you are looking for new music, and you search on Google, for example, let's say classic rock independent artist, or rock and blues new track, or unsigned artists, things like that. If you have an article about your music, your album, saying like Dave Moore and Westridge are mixing classic rock with blues, with jazz, ta-na-na, ta-na-na, ta-na, that search is gonna find you. That's
Yes,
why today is more about promoting being mentioned, you know, an article about you, or any kind of piece of promotion that says your name and the kind of music you do. People find you, but they are people that are looking for this kind of music. It's not like putting like advertisement on social networks, and you don't have a segmented audience, and you send that advertisement to anyone who likes rock. Sometimes it's not that kind of rock they like. They will not play, and you are spending money anyway because they saw your ads. But when we talk about articles, makes your music more discoverable, because of it's segmented, and we mention all the features of your music. That's why this is so important nowadays, even more because of artificial intelligence.
yeah. It's funny that you brought that up because just yesterday I watched a webinar about good SEO practices, and that's exactly what they were talking about. Is you
Oh,
put
thank God!
yeah, exactly what you were talking about is learning how to use the right words within your website or anything that you do so that it gets the search engines in Google to start pushing you up the ladder as far as search results.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And another thing is when you are promoting your music in the right way. I love the way you do because you are using articles too, and this is very important. Interviews. Why this is important? Because when somebody mentions you, it's a kind of recommendation. It's not you saying, "Oh, I'm David Moore and my music is the best." No, it's a music curator saying, look, you have to listen to David Moore. This is my recommendation. He has an amazing music, the amazing kind of classic rock. He's bringing back the roots, blah, 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 blah. This makes a huge effect on search too, because you are being recommended. And the search engine will just consider your name more important than your colleague that is recording the same kind of music, but nobody's talking about him.
And we live in such a time right now where everybody wants instant gratification. And I'm no different. I'm not being critical, but things are so easy. You get, that they're doing this on their phone. You got like a second to get their attention. And the same thing, I think I fell into the trap, and hopefully other artists will hear me on this, is that um, you know, to go viral or to have instant success, which is we'd all love it, is really playing the lottery. Go in there, do it because you love it, and be ready to go 4, 5, 6 years, however long it takes. Just keep putting out your music and enjoy it for what you're doing.
Exactly. Great message. I love what you are saying because, oh God, we need to do a kind of clean the younger generation's brains because they are just like infected by the social network bug. It's difficult to convince them, but that's it. When you do what you love with excellence, like Dave Moore, you get the right audience and you have just to release it and wait for that and keep promoting, not spending a lot of money, just keep promoting and make sure people mention your name and the title of your album, title of your music, because the word spreading is the trick, actually, not likes or followers on social networks. Social networks, they are closed. Only people there inside can find it. Google is open to the whole world for everyone searching for this kind of music you are doing. So the chance to get in front of them and be discovered by a new audience is bigger. So you are doing right, Dave. And I'm gonna say about your social networks. Everyone who wants to um, explore Dave Moore and Westridge portfolio, and obviously the 10 tracks new album, Get the Lead Out. Go to social networks like Spotify, David Moore and Westridge, Instagram, David underline Westridge, Facebook, David Moore and Westridge, YouTube is the same handle, and his website, davidmoore1056.com. Website, davidmoore1056.com. And there you can find everything about Dave's new tracks and also the previous ones, especially on Spotify, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Spotify is just important in the fact, Spotify. A lot of people gripe about what they pay, and they don't pay. None of the s streaming platforms really. You're not going to get rich on them unless you
Okay,
get millions of
let's
streams.
talk about it. So you feel that streaming platforms, they are not paying enough.
Oh, definitely not. No, I just from an artist point of view. Now, I understand. Also, take the other side is that we never had the opportunity to have our music distributed like it can today. So there's pros and cons. It's both ways. I don't hate Spotify. I think they've gone about trying to clean up some things the wrong way with the new how many numbers you have to even get paid any royalties.
Yeah,
Um,
you need to have 1,000 plays to start being paid for your songs, the
That's right.
plays.
And those 1,000 streams you're not going to get paid for. It's only 1,001 that they'll start paying you for.
And
And you
also they
have
don't
years
pay
people.
if it's played for 30 seconds and people skip your music, they don't pay as well. It's just after 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that's even old. I think they ramped that up some too because of the issue of white noise. If you want to Google that, you can read about what they're talking about there. But yeah, they just changed a lot of things this past year. And one thing I like about SoundCloud is you have the ability. They will, if you're a Next Pro subscriber on SoundCloud, they will put your music out to over 100 plus people that their algorithm says might like this. And I think it'd be great if Spotify would do that. Spotify's got radio and stuff, but it's, I don't know if my algorithms are messed up on Spotify, but I don't get that much off of Discover or radio. Whereas on SoundCloud, I've had much more success in getting more listeners.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, Spotify has a new feature now for improve the recommendation system. Like you mentioned, SoundCloud. Um, Spotify is using artificial intelligence too, and you can say by voice or you can type saying in a chat bot. You say, "Oh, I'm gonna take a shower. I want to relax. Create a playlist for me." And the app will create a playlist with chill out tracks from anyone, doesn't matter who is the artist. And that way people will be listening to new music that they normally don't search if they are creating a playlist by themselves.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
so this is an improvement on the recommendation system on Spotify. I like the idea. Um, let's say you are going to have a party. Oh, I'm going to have a party this weekend in my house, and we want to listen to 70s rock. Spotify will probably discover your music, David, and bring it to the playlist. You know, because
I hope they will.
you hope that it's gonna work. Yeah, they are making tests. Okay, I was doing because I do tests for features they bring to the market before it goes public. For
Okay.
everyone. So they are making tests. I was testing the feature, and I feel it works good because I wasn't searching for those artists if I was doing the playlist by myself. But with the system, the artificial intelligence making the playlist, I discovered new artists, independent artists, consolidate artists. It's all based on the melody. Doesn't matter the name of the artist anymore. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, and that's great, and you know that fits right in with people's lifestyles today too, because everybody's so busy and people just want, like I said, instant something, and so that's great when they can just say, hey, uh, put me down some 70s music for while I take a shower and chill, and it putting out stuff that's brilliant. That is great.
Let's see, it's gonna be improving, and we are going. I'm sure we will have another interview in the future. We are going to talk this again when we test the tool and it goes to everyone, and we are going to talk about this and talk about the real effect in our music. Right?
That sounds
Next
great.
interview, we talk about it.
I'd love to.
So, do you have a message to those who are discovering your portfolio right now, like new audience that's coming after watching this interview? Could be now, next month, or in a year? Just a message to them. They are discovering you right now.
Yeah, I am. Will be putting out, my plans right now are to, excuse me, put out something late spring, early summer next year. I'm gonna take some time off this summer and get back into the studio in the winter. And one thing, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, which is part of the serendipity of when I put my albums out. I used to love when I'd wait for the next Led Zeppelin album to come out, and oh man, I can't wait to. And I was always, the first time I heard the album, each track was a surprise. Oh wow, listen to what they did this time. And so I'd like to emulate that some, where people are surprised about what next song is going to come up. It's not a sameness. I try to change things up.
Diversity. Bring diversity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just make it where they don't, like I said, where they have the same feeling I was having back then. Of, what in the world am I getting? What is he going to play next? What's the next song? I'm ready to hear it. So
Right. But you are going to keep your signature, right?
yeah, I will be my between the folk rock and I'd like to go a little bit more rock. Not I'm not a Judas Priest type person. They had some great stuff. Turbo Lover was a great song, but that kind of hard metal, it's just not me. I'm
Like
the hardest time to
hardcore,
go.
heavy metal,
Pardon me.
hardcore. You are
No,
you are
yeah, that's not me. I about as hardcore as I get is some of the classic old Zeppelin, album 2, the second album, first album, all of the Zeppelin. I just was really the good rock and roll to me.
right. You are more classic. That's interesting, and I love it. Keep doing this kind of music, mixing with subgenres, because the subgenre mix is amazing for discovering new audience too. Like you are doing sometimes with soft rock, folk rock. You can do country rock and pop rock. There is a lot of music genres and subgenres you can experiment with. You do a kind of experimentation and keep it going this way because people like it.
Well,
All
it's
right.
fun. Yeah, the first Led Zeppelin, one of the first album I bought, the first two albums when my parents let me buy an album, I had heard Led Zeppelin before, and it was Communication Breakdown. I thought, man, that is so cool. And so I went to the store to get an album, and I didn't know what album that song was on or anything. And it's interesting because the album I got was Led Zeppelin 3. And if you're familiar with that, it has a lot of acoustic work in it, which really
Yeah, acoustic
drew me.
too. It's good.
It had the more heavier stuff, Celebration Day and stuff like that, but it had some wonderful acoustic stuff, Gallus Pole, and just some great stuff on that album.
Perfect. Great. All right. So we are going to have an article published about your album. We are going to mention the best tracks in our opinion, and also mention your previous work and your um, your future endeavors. Let's say like that, and also attach this interview as the end of the text so people can read about you and watch this interview. All right.
Sounds great, Will. One last thing. If anybody out there is interested in contacting me, you can through my website. I have a contact page. I always get back when somebody contacts me as quick as possible, very short amount of time. And I get real thrill out of talking to people from around the world about music and stuff. So
Right. The website is davidmoore1056.com.
correct.
davidmoore1056.com. But don't ask him about to be your boyfriend. It's about music, okay? Because some people are crazy. It's about music, right, David?
Well, or if they want to, I mean, I do storm chasing. I love cats. I'll talk about just about anything. You get me talking and I'll talk.
Okay, call him about being your boyfriend. Don't worry. He's okay with that.
Well, they'll have to talk to my wife about that. So.
Oh, call his wife then. No, we are going to create a divorce. Don't do that. Right. So, David, thank you very much for being here with us. It's an honor to have you here again. And please come back when you have new music, new albums, new EPs, singles, anything. Or if you just want to talk to us, just come back and let's talk. All right.
Sounds great, Will. I really appreciate the opportunity and thank you for taking your time. And I'm honored to be on your show.
Right. See you next time and stay online. I'm going to talk to you. Don't go. See you next time. Bye.